Hello, and welcome to Let's Jam. My name is Fernando, and I work for LA County Parks and Rec. Today we have a very special guest and a good friend of mine, Mark. He's going to be giving you an introductory lesson on how to play the drums. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm here to teach you about the basics of playing the drums. So let's get started. In front of me, I have a minimal setup of what my larger setup of drums would normally be. Today, I have a bass drum, a snare drum, a pair of hi-hats, and a ride cymbal. All of these individual parts of the drum make up the whole drum set. To play the drums, we use drumsticks. You can find these at your local music store or online. And if you don't have a drum set, there's always the cheaper option of buying a practice pad. You can find these at your local music store or online. The first thing you need to know before playing the drums is how to hold the drumstick. A method that I like to use is dividing the stick up to thirds and putting your thumb and index finger, which create the fulcrum, at the bottom third of the drumstick. After doing such, you wrap your fingers around the drumstick and put your palm facing down. The back of your hand should be facing horizontal to the ceiling, and there should be a healthy space between your thumb and your index finger. Now that you know how to actually hold the stick, we'll get into how to actually play a note on a practice pad or a drum. The motion can best be described as bouncing a basketball. Your palms facing downwards, and you're moving your hand up, flexing the wrist, and moving it back down, just like you're bouncing a basketball. Now do the same thing while holding the stick as taut, going straight up and straight down, straight up and straight down. Try to get it as fluent as possible and get comfortable with that motion in both hands. Now that you know how to play a note, let's talk about making music. Before we make music, there's some basics to know about making music. Let's talk about time signatures. The number top left of the board that looks like a fraction is the most common and the easiest time signature out there, 4/4. The top number describes the number of beats per measure, and the bottom number describes the type of note that gets the beat. You might notice that the bottom number is a 4, and that means that the quarter note gets the beat. The main tune type of notes that we're going to use today is the quarter note, seen left, the quarter note rest, the singular eighth note. This is what eighth notes look when they're connected, and the eighth note rest. The quarter note is called a quarter note because in 4/4, 4 quarter notes make up a measure. And the eighth note, as you can probably guess, is worth half of a quarter note. So 8 eighth notes make up 4 quarter notes, which make up a 4/4 bar of time. So now that we know what quarter notes and eighth notes are, here's an exercise that I wrote out that involves both quarter notes and eighth notes that you can follow along with and practice at home in order to get used to playing quarter notes and eighth notes in time. Before you practice them, and when you practice them, make sure to use a metronome at all sorts of tempos, which you can download on the App Store on any type of phone or device. The sound you hear is the sound of a metronome, with beat 1 accented for you. So let's count these exercises out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now let's play. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now that you've gotten used to playing chord notes and eighth notes alternating in both hands, the next step would be to make sure you can play quarter notes at least on your right foot in the bass drum. The same way you did it with your hands, you can do it with your foot, and it would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Considering you can do the following, we can start to put all these different rhythms in your different limbs together and make an actual groove. On the board, I have one of the simplest grooves that every drummer should know, written, which a lot of musicians like to refer to as 4 on the floor. The hi-hat is written on the line above what would be considered the F line. The snare is written in the C space, and the bass drum written in the F space. As you can see, the bass drum has quarter notes on every downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. The snare is written on 2 and 4, playing quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the hi-hat is playing what would be exampled in exercise 1, eighth notes, all on your right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now with that being said, once you put all of these rhythms together, it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when practicing this groove, make sure to not only start slow and make sure you have it down at a certain tempo before you speed it up, but also feel free to break up each of the given rhythms depending on which limb it's being played on. For example, if you're struggling with this groove, make sure to play the right hand only to the metronome, which would be the hi-hat. Then play the left hand only. Continue with only your right foot. Pair the right foot and the left hand together, and so on and so forth.
There you have it, guys. This was another episode of Let's Jam with our special guest, Mark. My name is Fernando, and I'm with LA County Parks and Recreation. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, Parks and Home. We'll see you next time.